Release from the pain of living.
Oh, Louis.
Is open to anyone.
Still whining, Louis.
To the men that follow.
Have you heard enough?
But it was a
I've had to listen to that for centuries.
Hey, KATRINA Porter. Ooh, can I do that again?
Please do.
Hey, you're KATRINA Porter. I think. I'm sure.
I am, and you are Anna Serene. I'm positive. We've already got 2 things right this episode.
Oof, I don't think we have. Welcome to Split Happens, everyone.
Welcome, everybody.
Every single episode, KATRINA and I talk about a movie that both of us love, but only one of us gets to say anything nice about it because that's more fun. And the other person has to crap all over it. And they are the con.
That's you.
It is me. So I am going to trap this movie in a death dungeon hole and watch it turn to ashes.
How is Death Dungeon Hole not one of your nicknames?
It is. That's how I came up with this fast. Whoa. That's how I came up with this fast.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Okay.
we have something to discuss.
So obviously, we are doing Interview with the Vampire. A lot of people mistake the title for this movie as Interview with a Vampire.
Really?
Yes.
Usually we go over our rules, our 3 rules that we must follow each episode, but we have decided to shuffle that up a little bit. Actually, we just decided to reduce.
I think we decided that we wanted to quit yelling at each other to make decisions.
We figured out that whoever actually thinks of the movie just immediately yells pro, and then it's not a fair way to determine who gets the episodes.
We realized that it was a real stupid way to do it.
Yeah.
But it took us 25 episodes.
We are doing it a different way.
We're going to talk it through like grown-ups.
Oh, I know.
It's a novel idea.
Gross. We decided that obviously the movies that have like an entire book series behind them, you should probably be covering. And all the movies that are superhero movies, I should probably be covering. Thing is I do read books. I just don't read them at the intensity and quantity that you do. Because I don't think people realize just how many books you read on a daily basis.
A lot. Well, I'll let you know. I have a morning book.
Yes.
That I read in the morning.
Yeah.
For like,
I have that. It's called a phone.
my morning book is always a nonfiction book. So something good for my brain, but oftentimes stressful as well. And then I have a bathtub book, and then I have a nighttime book.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I do read Twitter. Sometimes. I like the cute pictures of animals.
Yeah, we're both following a great person on Twitter. It's Buttigieg Biden or something of that.
Buttigieg Biden.
No, it's something like that, right? It's like a combination of their names, right?
No.
It's not.
No. He's from the Netherlands. What the word is a word in Dutch.
It is. I glanced at it and I thought it's just the 2 names.
I think because you saw the Biden in there in some way, you're like, Biden.
Yeah.
And not like, it's probably pronounced like Bieden, but I don't speak Dutch.
What's the name of it?
I just speak Dutch. It's Bieden is, I'm pretty sure what it is.
Oh, great. Now
Don't ask me to pronounce it. I don't know. It has like 20 letters.
Do you have to apologize to the Dutch now?
Oh, damn it.
Already.
Disclaimer.
I don't speak Dutch.
I don't speak Dutch or any other language, including English. Okay, well, we do have a rule.
Right.
We have a rule that we're going to go ahead and stick with. The rule is that whoever is the con of the episode only has to attack during the synopsis, and then they can't say anything nice about it while that is going on. And we had a very difficult time early on and the middle, and then also recently with that particular one. So we added a penalty, and that is you have to say something nice about the movie that you hate the most. My chosen movie is the remake of Clash of the Titans, and KATRINA's is
Hannibal.
Enough said.
Yeah.
You're going to know that the rule has been broken by a sound, and that's all we're going to say about that.
You hateful hag. What did you do with the button?
What button?
You fucking stole the button because you know you're going to get a button push on this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
No.
Hand over the button. We have one rule now to rule them all. Give me the damn button.
Gotta want it.
You know I can't reach.
You know I can't. My arms are weak. Oh no!
Just give me the button. My Schitt's Creek Funko Pops have fallen. This is a mess.
Did you just call them Funko Pops?
Funko.
You're a Funko.
Okay, here's a couple things. This was directed by Neil Jordan. And what is crazy is I have like 27 pages of notes for this, and I didn't write down anything else he directed. And I don't know off the top.
Jordan, he did... Oh, God, what was it? He did something really serious as opposed to this movie.
If you watch the opening credits of this, it says, for screenplay, it says, in quotes, screenplay by Anne Rice based on her novel.
Yeah.
But the word on the street is Neil Jordan really rewrote a lot of this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like Anne Rice did the screenplay? Or, I mean, like in quotes?
Kind of.
With an asterisk?
Kind, yes. But he rewrote a lot of it.
Ooh, Neil.
Yeah.
Well, I have some issues with Neil Jordan.
We know that Brad Pitt plays Louis.
We do.
We know that Tom Cruise plays Lestat. Lestat.
Lestat.
Kirstin Dunst plays Claudia.
Yes.
I know you're not going to have shit to say about that.
Not only do I not have anything negative to say about Kirstin Dunst in this, I am severely worried that I'm going to get a button push, which is why it was hidden.
Her acting is by far the best part of this movie.
Man, she's good.
She's incredible.
Do you know I get compared to her all the time?
I can see that.
All the time.
But you're
I get
prettier.
that so much. I get that I look like somebody always.
I think it's the dimples, maybe.
It could be.
Yeah.
Can I say that about my Twitter handle?
Yeah.
Yeah, my Twitter handle is I look so familiar because I get multiple times a year some stranger will tell me I look like somebody, either a celebrity, somebody they know. I get it constantly, and it has become a joke, and we've lived all over the place, and I get it regardless of where we are, and she's one of them. She's probably the most frequent.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But she's great.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say over and over again, she's 12 in this movie. In Kirstin Dunst is 12.
Wow.
In the filming of this. And to act, anyway.
She's better in this than anything I've done ever.
Yeah, and everyone else in this movie.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas plays Armand. The only other person I'm going to mention here is that Thandie Newton.
I saw that.
Yeah, plays one of the slaves.
Yeah. Yvette,
yes. Yeah. And she was later in Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And she and Brad Pitt had a little bit of a romance on the set of this movie.
Did they really?
Yeah, just a little.
Oh.
I'm bringing the facts, baby.
Do you have in your notes anywhere that they remade this? I think it's being released this year.
Absolutely not.
That they're remaking this?
No.
Are you serious? It's like a TV show. It's like I think it's a series.
That's a lie.
Okay, I'm gonna look up the trailer and you talk, and I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna get your live reaction.
You're
about it.
lying to me.
No, I'm definitely not, because it's Grey Worm from Game of Thrones is playing Louis.
Okay, now I know you're lying to me because Grey Worm is black.
Yes,
and Louis is a slave owner.
Yes, you'd think that would be a conflict.
Do you want to hear a few people that were considered for Lestat?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Because it's important to know that Anne Rice was pissed with the Tom Cruise casting.
I could see that, yeah.
She did not like it. She didn't like it so much, she refused to watch the movie until after it was made and somebody sent her a VHS copy of it.
VHS, that's cute.
And then she loved it so much she put out like a 2-page ad in some important newspaper, I don't know. So Anne Rice talked to Tom Hanks about playing Lestat.
Tom Hanks?
Yeah. But he did Forrest Gump instead. Won a little Oscar.
Good. Because also, he would have been horrible in this.
Well, along those lines, Daniel Day-Lewis was cast as Lestat and backed out at the last minute.
Daniel Dave?
Daniel Dave Elizabeth Lewis was cast as Lestat and backed out.
He would have been really good too.
John Travolta was considered.
What the fuck happened? Who was the casting director?
Well, these were all Anne Rice's ideas.
Oh, Anne. Miss Rice.
She also wanted Brad Pitt as Lestat and not Louis.
Okay.
Uh-huh. She wrote the book in 1976 and this came out in 1994.
God damn. 76? Are you serious?
Right. She wrote it and it was optioned before the book was even finished, but then there were so many vampire movies that came out, it got shelved for almost 20 years.
In the Oh, yeah.
Nosferatu.
Blackula.
She wrote it with Rutger Hauer in mind.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of the Dutch.
Of the Dutch?
Yeah, Rutger Hauer is Dutch, you know.
I love.
That was my Dutch.
Okay, well.
Buttigieg Biden. That's the only Dutch word I know.
Jeremy Irons was considered. But yeah, Anne Rice hated the Tom Cruise casting. But she ended up absolutely loving him.
Which is fascinating because he's not the problem I have with this movie. And he's pretty camp in this. And he is definitely not the acting issue I have.
Oh, he's wonderful in this.
He is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my disclaimer. I don't pay to watch Tom Cruise movies because he has said so many garbage things about mental health. And as a therapist, I can't. I've heard that he's kind of moving away from the Scientology.
I've heard that as well.
Yeah. But
I hope that he is. I really do. People have had checkered pasts. I watched American History X, yes?
all I'm saying is don't take mental health advice from somebody who thinks eventually he's going to be the king of the blue planet. That's not who you get your mental health advice from.
He can't be the king. That's Lord Xenu. Hey, can I interject?
Why?
Because I've got that trailer pulled up.
Is it a movie?
No.
You don't fear me, Louis. You fear yourself.
Dear God is right. What a bunch of nonsense that is.
I hate that this has become such a crutch for trailers in general.
The moody music.
Well, and it's just remaking a song and then, but just like having like a, either kids sing it or, something that's typically really peppy. Like, I mean, it's like a horror movie and they're like, and you steal my sunshine. I mean, it's just, I think it's weird that they do this.
Ever do that again.
Sorry.
That trailer looks like garbage.
I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
I just told you how I feel. Garbage.
Oh, garbage. Okay. Ooh, that Marg. You made it good.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I really, really love this movie, and I am going to try my sweet little darndest to not say anything positive because you have a trigger finger. All right, here we go.
Let the games begin.
This movie starts off with a beautiful shot of the water, and here's where the Lost Boys got it wrong immediately because there's no shaky camera shit. It's just a beautiful shot.
Well, I can tell you how the rest of my notes are going to go because my first line in my notes is, I don't like bridges, period.
Oh, your notes are terrible then. I didn't actually write this down in my notes because I swear to God I had no more room. This is the first movie that they were able to shut down the Golden Gate Bridge for.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's right. I didn't write it down, so don't fact check that one.
Yeah, I will not.
There's something about what I just said that's true. Yeah. Maybe not all of it.
That sounds like 90% of the trivia that we have on this podcast.
Yeah, disclaimer for all these episodes, don't fact check anything we say.
Oh, please don't. You don't have time for that, and neither do we, obviously.
Brad Pitt, who I mentioned plays Louis, is staring moodily out a window.
He's a morose motherfucker through this entire thing.
Well, speaking of that, he didn't love shooting this movie. And one of the producers is David Geffen.
Yeah.
who was a good friend of his. David Geffen's done a bajillion movies.
Yeah.
And he begged him, like, let me out of this movie. The makeup sucks. The contacts suck. Tom Cruise wanted the set, like, shut down so no one could see makeup or anything. So they built tunnels around the set.
Jesus.
This isn't in my notes either. I just read so much about this fucking movie.
Brad Pitt did that on another movie, but I can't remember what it
No,
was.
I'm sorry, Tom Cruise. Oh, begged to get out of it?
Yeah, tried to get out of something, but I can't remember what it was.
I think you're wrong. But David Geffen's like, yeah, we could do that. It will cost us $40 million, but sure.
Oh, shit.
And, oh, by the way, I didn't look up the budget and I didn't look up how much it made. In the book, Brad Pitt, Louis,
Yeah.
he's a moody fucker, but not as moody as he is in this movie. And part of that was just because Brad Pitt was miserable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Art imitating life, am I right?
I don't know what he was doing in those days would be considered art, but...
Legends of the Fall. That's when he had that long ass hair. I know that.
And the head shake with the water hat.
I don't recall.
What? It looks like this. I kind of look like someone having a seizure. He didn't look quite like this.
Yeah, you look like you're trying to pop your neck.
Louis is being interviewed by Christian Slater.
Yes.
He's the reporter getting his story, and that's why this movie, again, is called Interview with the Vampire. Mm-hmm. I wrote down a million things, and I did not write down the name of the character that Christian Slater plays. For some reason, in my head, it's something like Malfoy.
Like Malfoy.
But it's not Malfoy.
Malcolm?
No.
Malice. Marvin.
No.
Miles. Minor. Mug.
In my defense, in the book, he doesn't have a name. He's just called the boy. I'm just going to call him Malfoy. But part of that...
You can't call Christian Slater Malfoy. What
I
is
am.
wrong with- No.
It's something like that. What's his name in Heathers?
Not Heather's.
So, Not Heather is there interviewing Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Louis. River Phoenix was supposed to play the Christian Slater character, not Heather. He died, tragically. Ooh. And Christian Slater made $250,000 for this movie and gave it all to like 2 different charities that River Phoenix was a big donor to.
He says he asked Louis, "What do you do?"
He's like, "I'm a vampire."
It's like, bitch, is you deaf? I asked you, what do you do? Not what are you?
Well, but what he do is he does vampire. Louis freaks the fuck out of him by saying he's a vampire and then zipping around the room.
Yeah, that's just coke. Brad Pitt's look, where do I even start unwrapping this present? The veins, the nails, the eyes, the ponytail, the clothes. His body has the mobility range of Joan Cusack in 16 Candles.
How dare you? Brad Pitt has been through enough. He's not allowed to drink anymore. Angelina took all his kids.
This is pre-Angelina.
I know, but let's not beat him up now.
I'm definitely going to beat him up now. That's my job. I don't have much. All I have is bash Brad Pitt because he gave me gifts.
Okay, so you mentioned the veins.
Yes.
It's going to sound like a lie, but I swear to God, they had to hang upside down for 30 minutes. So then it's like all the blood would rush to their head and their veins would pop out. And then like the people doing the makeup would like draw lines so they could get the veins. I swear to God.
I believe that. Now, if you would have said, Anna Serene, you need to hang upside down because of that is obviously bullshit, I would believe it and I would hang upside down and I would be furious when you're just giggling like an asshole.
I would never do that.
You're thinking about how you can do it now. I can see it in your face. Like, how can I make this happen?
I know. It's like, how much sugar could I tempt her with to make this happen?
Not much.
Yeah. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, they were in makeup at minimum of 3 hours a day.
Goodness, I'd be morose too. I have like a 5-minute limit on makeup. 10 if it's like a special occasion.
Louis starts telling Not Heather the story of how he got churned and that he was grieving the loss of his wife and his child. In the book, there was no wife and child. He was grieving his brother.
That's right. He says, I was 24, different than now. I was a man at that age. 24 is a man now.
I think he was trying to make himself sound like he was older than than the not Heather character is.
He's saying that 24 now is different than, like, at 24 then, you were an old man practically. Like, you know, in Little House on the Prairie, how, what's that bitch that's the narrator, the little girl?
Laura?
Yeah. How she's like, I'm 13, I better get married, I'm practically a spinster.
No, I would argue, though, back in those days,
Yes.
24 is different than 24 is now. 24 then, you probably been married for 7 years with 12 children. I'm gonna say it. Louis is a real Debbie Downer with this story.
No shit.
And he makes it real easy for Lestat to just come and bite him.
He also makes it easy to understand him because he enunciates every single letter.
I think that's what he was going for.
It's weird.
Well, that's how vampires talk.
No, it isn't. He is the only one that does that. It's very straight. His line delivery is hilarious.
Oh, really? I would argue that hilarious is a good thing.
No way. Hilarious in a ridiculous way. His line delivery is absurd. No. You know it's bad. It stands out with how, I mean, nobody else talks like this. And I went to the market to find consonants.
So speaking of not picking on Brad Pitt,
Yes.
one piece of trivia that I did not appreciate and I do not believe is that Tom Cruise complained about Brad Pitt all the time because apparently, and again, I don't believe it, he was a little bit of a funky monkey and didn't use deodorant.
I've heard that before.
What? No, you're thinking of Matthew McConaughey.
No, actually, I wasn't. I was thinking in my head when I said that, I was like, maybe I'm thinking of Johnny Depp. So it's funny you should say that.
Johnny Depp was considered for Lestat.
Johnny Depp would have been great as Lestat. I've heard that before, that he was doing like a, you know, like some of the people are doing now. Like, I can't wear aluminum, I'm allergic. So sorry about your heat wave, world.
So Lestat bites him. And then,
Yeah.
what's wrong with that?
He bites him and then they like go up into the air. There's like 1 million people walking around. They don't like notice that a guy is flying around with another guy whilst the first guy is eating the other guy.
No, they're all shit-faced.
They're not. They're just, there's children present, I think.
There were no children. They're
Yeah.
at a brothel.
There were children, you know, they were 5, so that meant they weren't quite adult yet, almost.
You're making that up. That's not real.
What?
There weren't any kids hanging around. That's literally a brothel. Because he says...
They're in like a boardwalk. They're like over a boat. Like there's people like walking around like meandering. There's meanderers.
They were all intoxicated and they all had seen vampires before.
I'm intoxicated constantly. And even I'd be like, holy shit, there's a guy eating another guy in the air.
I know, but then you would move on very quickly. You'd be like, where's my drink?
Well, sure.
Louis is hanging out in a cemetery and that sneaky bitch Lestat sneaks up on him to make him a true vampire for real.
Yeah, gotcha.
Then he gives Louis his own blood. And he's like, there's so many silly goose lines in this. He's like, now look with your vampire eyes.
You say silly, I say bad writing.
I know. And then not Heather is like, asked Louis, okay, well, what did you see with your vampire eyes? He's like, I can't even describe it. Like, can you try? You're telling him a fucking story.
Yeah, you're being interviewed. Remember, why would becoming a vampire make the statue's eyes open? The stone statue that's there? Like, look with your vampire eyes, and there's a statue opening its eyes.
Yeah, I have an answer.
Do you really?
Yeah. And it's real. The answer is...
Yes.
Because we don't have vampire eyes.
That's true.
We don't know that statues' eyes do open and close. But vampires know that because they use their vampire eyes. It's vamp vision.
Here's the thing. I know that you're lying. I can see it in your non-vamp eyes. And even still, though I know that you're lying, I'm like, that makes sense to me.
It's not bad. There are a lot of gay undertones in the book and the movie.
You think?
Right.
It's funny you should say that because right at this very moment, I have, man, this movie is gay, and that is an observation, not a compliment. So
It sounds like a compliment to me.
This movie is gayer than He-Man and She-Ra, Secret of the Sword. And that was a pride parade of a movie.
Anne Rice was worried the movie wouldn't get made for that reason. So what she did briefly to make it not gay was she rewrote Lestat as a female with Cher in mind.
Oh, honey. Was Judy Garland busy? He's going over like the checklist of what was correct with vampires.
Yeah.
Why would coffins be necessary?
Because of light.
Not just like a real dark room?
No, but it's also like to hide them so they can just sleep without being visible to people if someone were to come in the room.
Right, because there's nothing that says everything is on the up and up here like a coffin sitting in the middle of a living room. Why is getting bitten orgasmic?
We don't have time for that.
But we do. That's a very strange thing. It seems like nobody has any pain. I because of my job and my abilities as a human to be able to like navigate my surroundings, I'm cut all the time. I get bruises and cuts constantly.
Yeah, but it's just not your thing. But if you think about it, now that you say it,
it hurts.
It's a theme of, I don't want to say all vampire movies, but it's a theme of a lot of vampire movies and a lot of vampire shows. True Blood, for example.
Yeah.
There are sexual undertones heavy in vampire movies, vampire shows. It's in a lot of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, but
I'm saying that there are a lot of sexual undertones that come with the vampire lore. So Louis and Lestat are living on Louis's plantation. Slaves are catching on that there's some weird shit going on, and they do some voodoo to get the vampires to stop their shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Yvette, who's played by Thandie Newton,
tries
to talk some sense into Louis.
How's that go?
It doesn't go well.
Have we not even talked about how off-putting Tom Cruise is with blonde hair? It looks so weird.
That Anne Rice demanded he have blonde hair.
Of course she did, Anne.
So while Louis is talking to Yvette, Lestat goes to New Orleans. Louis gets a little hungry, and he kills Yvette, which is kind of sad. And then all the slaves have surrounded the plantation, and he walks out with her, and he's like, "You're free."
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
He's like, because he doesn't say it like that. He's like,
"Hear me now. This place is cursed. And yes, your master is the devil. Get out while you can. You are all free men. You hear me? Run!"
Again, his delivery from start to finish is it ranges from bad to weird.
Like your takes.
Sure. I'm saying his delivery is so bizarre. The choices he made were so weird.
He didn't want to be in this.
Well, he is, though. So, you know what? There's a lot of times where I don't want to do something. Usually it's like work, or I'm cooking, or I'm having to go to bed early at a certain time because I've got to go to work, or, I have to give like one of these and it's work. And I don't... We all have to do things we don't want to do. But sometimes you just got to throw that thing in your mouth and move on. Our brothers listen. Right. God damn it.
Things that didn't confuse me about Brad Pitt in the 90s, his appearance. Things that confused me about Brad Pitt in the 90s, his acting. Because in this Seven, which is one of my favorite movies,
which we are covering,
which we're going to do, he's not good.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I take the con, so I can't wait to use that as a clip.
But then he does 12 Monkeys,
which I love,
which he's incredible in.
Which that's a Terry Gilliam, which is perfect because we're doing, and Terry Gilliam does that.
Yes, Louis burns the plantation to the ground, and Tom Cruise, he is so good in this movie, and he's funny. He comes back to the plantation and he's like,
Perfect! Just burn the place! Burn everything we own!
He's like annoyed that Louis burned this plantation to the ground, which Louis owned, by the way. Lestat continuously tries to get Louis to kill people. Like, that is his mission in life. And Louis is just continuing to sing the hit song Alone in My Principles and is not going to kill anybody. And it's just like, Louis.
Oh my God, he is a fucking drag. This guy is a slug. Just kind of slowly creeping across, not doing anything productive at all. Just kind of.
What's that
there.
character in It's Always Sunny? Snail?
Gail the snail. Hey guys, want to go get high in my car?
Is he the vampire version of Gail the Snail?
Get out of here, snail! Get out!
We meet Claudia, whose mom just died from the plague. In the book, she's 5 years old, but in the movie, they make her 12, specifically because they want to cast Kirstin Dunst, which is the smartest thing anyone's ever done. It boggles my mind that a kid does what she does in this movie. I don't understand people that can act anyway, because it's such, to me, that's like one of the hardest things you can do. Mm-hmm. But what do you think, Lana? Your face says that it's killing you. That you're literally having the blood sucked out of your neck by Brad Pitt. And he's saying New Orleans over and over again.
Blood out of your neck. I think that her acting, again, like Tom Cruise, puts a big old spotlight on how bad Brad Pitt is. And also, why didn't her eyes change? When she turned to a vampire, that was immediate with Brad Pitt. It's the same way with Lestat. It's the same way with when her Mama Madeline shows up later. I mean, like, everybody's got these weirdo vampire eyes except for her. They just didn't want to give her contacts because you can throw contacts on a kid and make them uncomfortable. We covered Lost Boys.
Read a book. When kids turn into a vampire, their eyes don't change.
That's not what it says. I read the... Oh, your face.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I read that.
I read those books.
No, but in a different book about vampires that is called...
Are you just looking around? Are you like, I love lamping your books right now? Like, I'm just looking
No,
around.
it's a book called Vampire Eyes.
Oops.
Oh, shit. You have a candy wrapper stuck to your forearm.
It's not my fault. I put my hand on the disc. What else is supposed to happen?
Do you know how Tom Cruise prepped for this movie?
Put on a wig?
No. He watched hours of videos of lions attacking zebras.
He did not.
Yes, he did.
He did not.
It's in my notes. That's not even a lie. Like that other shit I just said.
What does lions have to do with vampires?
Predator.
Couldn't he just watch, like, have a seat Chris Hansen?
To catch a predator. Louis bites Claudia, and Lestat gets a real kick out of that because Mr. Alone in his principles, he's not going to kill anybody until he kills a kid.
Of all the people.
Right. Lestat turns Claudia into a blood-sucking brat, and she's real good at it. Kids that age are so self-involved and have such difficulty thinking outside of themselves that it makes sense that this translates into basically her just like wanting whatever she wants. Lestat clearly turned her to trap Louis, and it worked because Louis is a dumbass. The scene where Claudia is having her piano lessons and the guy like taps her fingers and the look she gives him is so hysterical. Do you like that?
No.
Yes. That part is so funny.
It seemed rude.
She's like, this motherfucker.
She was not very respectful to that teacher.
Claudia starts to realize that she's never going to grow up. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't handle that real well.
She does not.
Claudia demands to know how she was churned.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a little devious rascal.
Rascal?
Yeah. She starts plotting on how to kill Lestat.
Because how rascally.
She knows that Louis not going to do it.
Yeah, he's too busy moping.
They didn't have Lexapro back then.
You know what they did have? Laudanum.
So Claudia, that clever claws, she kills Lestat, we think.
Yes.
by putting these little fellas to sleep.
Yes.
Okay, what's your problem with that?
How did she trick him?
He's playing the piano, which is hysterical because she walks in the room and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here, you brat." And she goes up to him and she's like, "I came to make peace with you, even if you are the father of lies."
She's like, "How can I make you happy?" And he's like, "Leave." And she's like, "Oh, Dad."
She's like, "Come here. I got a present for you." And he sees these two little boys passed out.
My issue is that she is able to trick him that the kids are actually dead because she gave them laudanum. Apparently that keeps the blood warm even when they're dead. How does a 12-year-old girl that spent all of her time in extreme poverty happens to know what laudanum does to the blood? That laudanum makes your blood warm even when you're dead?
I have a legitimate answer to that. She's not 12. I mean, this is like 30 years after she's turned.
And then she's like, "Good night, sweet prince. May flights of devils wing you to your rest." Jesus Christ.
Then she
was this
slits his
Anne
throat.
Rice or was this Neil Jordan? Because I want to find out who is responsible for that absolute vomit.
She slits his throat and then she smiles because she's like really into this shit.
Sociopath.
Louis is really bad at being a vampire.
He's such a fucking drag.
He became a vampire while he was grieving his wife and daughter. Then he becomes a vampire, which he doesn't want to do.
He does. He said yes.
It's like the red pill, blue pill from the Matrix. I mean, sometimes you have a little buyer's remorse. And I don't think you can understand the concept of you're going to live for centuries. Lestat comes back from the dead, part 2. Louis sets him on fire.
Why does he look so shitty after he gets out of the swamp?
Because he hasn't been feeding for a while.
But all he has to do is feed like one time. All he has to do is slurp on like half of a person.
He slurped on an alligator, and in Vampire Eyes, Chapter 7, alligator blood, it's not good.
Sure. Were there no humans on the way from swamp to wherever they are?
No, Lestat was focused. He's like, Louis going to run off with Claudia.
Yeah.
I need to find them right away.
Yeah.
His intention was probably to eat Claudia.
That wouldn't have helped him.
Why?
Because she's already dead. He can't eat something that's dead.
Oh, yeah.
He could have run into it. It would have taken he could have gotten like a happy meal, like a couple of kids, and just eaten them on the way, like a to-go meal.
He was very focused.
He should have been focused on that.
Louis tells, not Heather, the reporter, that they've traveled through Europe trying to find other vampires, but nada, until they get to old Paris. Claudia, if you notice when they leave New Orleans and they go to Europe, she starts dressing as an adult. Instead of like when she was with Lestat, she was always dressed like a little doll in little doll clothes, but her clothes are very much women gowns. Her hair is done up. It's a good juxtaposition because it really shows that in her mind, at least, she when it was her, Lestat, and Louis, those were her parents. And now she's with her companion. She's allowed to live a more adult life. Louis meets Santiago, who's played by Stephen Rea. He studied French comedy and pantomime for this. The scene where he's dancing up the bridge and on the ceiling.
It doesn't even look good. We've seen that trick 1,000 times in other movies. Turbo and Break Into, Electric Boogaloo. That looks way more convincing and realistic than this.
This was inspired by Fred Astaire in Royal Wedding.
Yeah, no shit. Like everybody else that does this exact trick. I want to know why Stephen Rea is dressed exactly like Louis. Same outfit. Do they go to the same store? Is there a vampire outlet mall?
He's doing pantomime with them.
I understand, but how did he get his exact same clothes?
They've been following him.
His exact same clothes.
They go to the same tailor. Listen, Louis is not happy that this chucklehead is the first vampire he meets. But then out pops, fine as hell, Antonio Banderas. So this is Armand.
Yes.
And he is the oldest, to his knowledge, he's the oldest vampire in the world. In the book, Armand is a 17-year-old red-headed Russian kid. Armand invites Louis and Claudia to a play of vampires playing humans playing vampires.
Yeah.
And it is clear that an innocent lady doesn't have long for this world.
It's clear that somehow the audience can't tell the difference between the like hammy acting and like a real woman begging for her life. They're clearly not the same.
But maybe they just thought that in this play, she was like Kirstin Dunst is in this movie. Like everyone else in the play is Brad Pitt, and she's Kirstin Dunst.
There's always a standout.
That poor lady, she's gorgeous. I don't know who she is. But she dead. The crowd turns on them pretty quickly, but they don't like run out in horror. They just were like, okay, we're done. And they just walk out.
That's after Armand shows up in that ridiculous goddamn outfit. This bitch.
What?
That red like cape thing and his hair is slick, doing the slick back ridiculous. He looks ridiculous.
Don't listen for a second. Cancel red cape order for Anna's birthday.
You know what this is?
What?
This is gay and yet somehow boring.
That's how you know it's not boring. It's impossible.
This is both a super mega big gay boat parade gay, and also I'm falling asleep. I must have just been drugged with laudanum.
Claudia and Louis take a tour of the underground vampire cave. If I was talking to the oldest vampire ever, I would have better questions than Louis had. Do you have to moisturize or does your skin just look like that? Do you have to use dry shampoo? If you didn't have to moisturize and you didn't have to use dry shampoo,
Yeah.
I think I would have said I'll be a vampire.
I'm going to go ahead and dispel you of that thought. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You have to eat strangers. You have to put your mouth on a stranger's neck and or wrist. You have excellent skin because you have a very good skincare regimen.
It takes so long.
Sure, but the alternate to this is you have to put your mouth.
Okay, you're right. I don't like germs.
Thank you.
So as Louis and Claudia are leaving, Stephen Ray, aka Santiago, said, he reads Louis' thoughts, which was something about Lestat, and he says, vampires really only have one rule.
Look crazy as shit.
No.
Use dry shampoo.
No,
Moisturize.
they don't have to. You don't kill other vampires.
Kill your own kind.
Yeah. It sounds silly when you say it.
It sounds silly when he said it.
Armand tells Louis that Claudia is in danger and he wants to send her away so they can cough and cuddle. I'm not saying I would cough and cuddle with Antonio Banderas. Louis thinks he's going to get all the answers and they will be okay, but I don't think so. Claudia brings the lady home and forces Louis to turn her so she can have a mom.
Madeline.
This is the scene that I don't love, and I'm not alone in it, because this is the scene where Claudia gives Louis a little peck on the mouth.
Weird.
And Kirstin Dunst has said that everyone kept saying, you're like the luckiest person in the world. You got to kiss Brad Pitt. And
She like, I was 12.
that's exactly what she said.
Okay,
She's like,
good.
I thought it was disgusting.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird. And also, not because of the kiss thing, she wasn't allowed to see this movie that she was in because it was too violent.
Obviously.
Right. She also said, and I do love this, and this makes me think that the King of the Blue Planet has some redeemable qualities, because Kirstin Dunst has said that every Christmas since this movie, came out,
94.
Don't make me do math.
94. Oh, God, don't make me do math again.
28
6.
years?
Carry the 2.
28. So sometime, it's been decades, every year at Christmas, Tom Cruise gives her a coconut cake with white chocolate chips, which she calls the Cruise cake.
Why coconut? She just.
It must have been her favorite. I don't know. It's very specific.
Is this one of those things like you know when you tell like an auntie or like a grandma or something like, I like birds, and then from there on out the only gift you get forever is something that related? Like she said it in passing, and then like that's all he thinks that she likes.
No, I think it's sweet, and quit trying to make it bad.
Bloop bloop.
The vampires snatch up Louis and Claudia gets the true death treatment.
Well, and Madeline, I bet she was like, oh, fuck me, I changed my mind. I want to be human.
Right. Whoopsie doodle. Louis doesn't take this well, and he burns the vampire cave to the ground and just starts chopping heads off.
With the scythe. Oh, my God. You know what my notes say on this part?
What?
LOL, 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 LOL. His acting is bad. And then you put a scythe in his hands and it gets real shitty. And again, he and Santiago are wearing the same goddamn outfit.
Armand whisks Louis away from the scene of the crime. And then Armand says, and this is silly, this is I think it's funny, but Armand says the vampire motto is to be powerful, beautiful, and without regret.
Yeah, because he's like, what do you mean not regret? That's all I have.
Right.
I don't take that away from me. And Armand's like, oh my God, I regret.
Right. I should have let you die in that cave. Louis comes back to America, and it turns out all he needed to feel better was the invention of movies.
He goes to go see Tequila Sunrise. That dumb bitch. Does he not realize that's not actually about a sunrise?
Louis ends up in New Orleans. And
this is a 20-minute scene of Louis walking through a house.
He visits the old plantation, and guess who he finds? Lestat, not looking great.
Yeah, because apparently he couldn't find a human anywhere in 20 years or however long it takes. He couldn't find a single little a person to snack on at all. A single person.
Listen, it seems like Lestat has a little bit of PTSD to me, and Louis gloating a little bit. Louis finishes story with the report. Oh, okay, here's where I wrote it. Malloy, that's the reporter's
His
name.
name is Malloy.
Malloy, Malfoy Malloy.
Oh, that is really close. His name is Malloy?
Yeah, that's his last name is Malloy.
Oh, his last name. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so in the book, he's the boy?
Yeah.
So he's the boy Malloy?
He's the boy Malloy.
That's what they gave him?
Yeah.
It's like Julia Gulia.
Right. So Louis finishes his story with Not Heather. And Not Heather is pissed that Louis won't turn him into a vampire until Louis puts him in a chokehold. Not Heather takes off, freaked the fuck out, and starts listening to the recording. And Lestat pops out, bites him. And he's listening.
And Lestat is immediately pepped up. Looks like all he needed to do was snack on somebody for 5 seconds. And he's totally fine.
I wish for him he would have found someone earlier. He's like, oh, Louis, still whining. It's so funny.
You know what I thought of? Whenever he was like total shit, and then he like drank Christian Slater, and then he's like immediately better.
Yeah.
Do you remember a while back when I was like feeling like really, really shitty?
Yeah.
I know I need to be more specific, but I was not feeling great.
Right.
I had like having bad headaches and all that.
Yeah.
And then we went out and I had a margarita, and then like immediately I was like, uh-oh, now I feel better.
It's like, I hate to say it again to reference It's Always Sunny again, but like...
Dude, that's not good. I can't stop drinking now. I'll probably die, dude.
That's the end.
Yeah,
Louis,
well, after he picks up driving very fast.
he's smart.
Very fast.
Yeah. Lestat drives off with Not Heather, and ostensibly to go look for Louis. And that's the end of the movie.
It's done. Yes. It's over now.
Yay!
I cannot
I didn't get a button push.
believe you did not get a button push.
I can't believe I didn't get a button push.
Speaking of pushing,
Ooh.
you pushed the boundaries on a couple.
My face was imploding to not say something nice. That was, I've got a headache. I need a margarita. What a great movie this is. Brad Pitt, holy shit, he was not a good actor then.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. My husband listens to every episode we do, and he's so good-natured about it.
Yeah, he has to be, because you talk about, it's your...
Me? Or
yes.
we?
You!
Uno or dos?
You! You are way worse.
So,
I will point you to Blade.
it's Wesley Snipes, for God's sake.
Yeah, and Dr. Karen.
She's gorgeous.
And not Christian Slater, Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
And
Chris Christopherson?
Chris Christopherson.
I know, I didn't understand that.
Was there anybody else that I'm missing?
That's just it. Just 4 people.
So your husband's very understanding.
Oh, and Blade's mom.
And Blade's mom.
I love Brad Pitt's face. I loved it then. I loved it now.
Yeah.
I think he's a fantastic actor now.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
This was like paycheck. Thing is I wouldn't normally notice because Tom Cruise is really good. Kirstin Dunst is amazingly good. Antonio Banderas is very good.
He is.
Stephen Ray. I thought it was just Stephen Ray, but is it Stephen Rea?
I don't know. You know, I can't pronounce anything correctly.
You know what? That's what this director, what was his
Neil Jordan?
Neil Jordan, he did The Crying Game.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Stephen Ray, yeah, that's why, yeah. I was like, I knew it was something serious and like not funny.
This movie's great. And there's so many things I love about it. I love that we decided to do it kind of in passing. Like, wait a second. We love Interview with a Vampire, right?
We sure do.
And they're like, yeah, let's do it.
I think it was after when we found out that Anne Rice had passed.
Yes.
Yeah. I would like to know not what somebody's favorite vampire or anything like that. I want to know how people feel about the TV series that's going to be made. I'm curious. Who knows? It could. I mean, they definitely took a more contemporary approach. So I want to know what other people think. We obviously have our opinions, but I want to hear what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, and rate and review us
on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can get a hold of us really easily. We are on Split Happens Pod on all of the socials and splithappenspod.com. And if you go to our socials, chances are very, very good that KATRINA will be responding to you because she is super, super fast about it. This was great. I can't wait till we do our next one, which we can't say. Bye, KATRINA Porter.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.